Okay, here we go with this. I spared you all of the dime of time it took me to get this out of the packaging. It was in a medium flat rate box surrounded by a bunch of popcorn foam. Hate those things. And so I ended up with a pretty nifty looking, and it's a pretty nifty looking wooden cigar box that doesn't seal like it should. But here's what we've got. And I've not gone into any of the unpackaging of this yet, but I'll get started on it now. I'm going to bring up my graphic that makes sure I remember what we do know and what we don't know, what we have, what we don't have. And then I'll go through the plates one by one, kind of maybe grade them or something like that, and take a good little look at a bunch of them. So let's see. I'm going to bring up my Photoshop now. File open. And you can message me, I'm sure, if you do show up, and we'll do something different with this. But let's see. I'm into my auction stuff right now, so I have to move over to license plates again. Let's see here, which that doesn't bother me at all. Let's see, there's that, and then file open my 54. I open my 53 and my 54 full posters so I can remember. There we go. So I've got both of my posters open over here. And so with that, I'm looking for any of the 54s that I find in here, like this one. I'm looking to see if they've got the 2 holes or the 4 holes, and kind of what condition they're in. This one is in kind of lowly condition because one of the holes has been kind of torn, kind of ripped. But it's a 4-hole plate, and has the ruled edge like all 54s should. So this is a normal plate. And this one, 1953 Alabama. This 53 Alabama has slot holes, and of course the brass back that all of them do. And this one is normal. There are 2 types of Alabamas, the slot hole and the round hole with the silver back. And so that's what I've seen. That's all I know about in those. Here's a 54 Indiana. Not in the greatest of shape. It's got some... it looks like it was clear coated at one time, which is kind of weird. But, I mean, if I needed to polish this, it would polish up all right. This is the 2-hole version. There is also a 4-hole version of this. Uh, 54 Idaho. What's this? Okay, 54 Idaho. This is a 2-hole. The 54 Idaho comes in 2-hole, and it's rolled under like it should be. Brass colored back. So nothing unusual about this one. South Carolina 54. Again, this one's got some issues around the hole. 4-hole plate, as they all are. 4-hole plate. White on black. There's a 53 North Carolina. Of course, this one does not have the rolled edges like North Carolina does not. And this is one of the 2 varieties that you find in North Carolina. They're 2-hole plates, but you find them either with the brass back or the silver back. Now, this one, there's been some wear on this one, and it has worn down to the silver. Here's a 54 North Carolina, supposed to have that rolled edge, and it does. Again, a normal 2-hole plate. A 53 New Mexico. This is 54 New Mexico. This is going to be one of my first reject plates. This one's not worth keeping. All right, here is one of the 53 plates. This one's bent and then straightened back out. I can use a blunt punch and punch this back into shape. It is a 4-hole, which is normal for 1953. I believe that's normal. This is one I'm not 100% sure of. Yes, they're all 4-hole. Okay, so they're all 4-hole. And this one is the common brass back. North Carolina 53. New York 53, sorry. Got a 54 and a 53. That's why the plate numbers are different. The 54 is normal. Regular 2-hole. And then the 53 New York only shows up in the slot hole and the round hole in brass back. Silver back is not known. Little disappointed in the condition in these plates. There's an Ohio 54, and this is not dirt. That's permanent, whatever it is. The 54 Ohio comes in 2-hole only. And it does have the rolled edges like it's supposed to. Here's a 53 Ohio with the round holes and the brass. See, this is nearly a mint plate. That's a decent plate. The Ohio comes only with the round holes. It comes with the silver back or the brass back. District of Columbia, 1954, which would be the 1953 set. These come in all round holes, and they come with 4 holes, 4 round holes, and the brass back or the silver back, and this one is the brass back. Here is a 55 DC, which would be in the 54 set. Rolled edges like it's supposed to have, and 4 holes. So nothing unusual so far. Here's a Michigan with slot holes. That's normal. Michigan comes in all 3 varieties. All 3 varieties are relatively common, except that the silver back plates are always a little less common to get. There's another 53 Illinois. This is the only one that doesn't have a passenger car plate number. This is actually a truck plate number, and nobody really knows why. That's the only one. And it happens to be the state where they were made, so perhaps the Secretary of State's office didn't allow them to use a car plate number and wanted them to use a truck plate number. But that's it for that. Here's a 54 Illinois. Now this one is a car plate number, and it has a dented hole. Everything else being completely normal on this one. Here's a 53 Idaho with 2 holes. Let's see, the Idahos all come with 2 holes, and this one is the brass back. The brass back, they come with the slot holes in brass, or they come with the round holes, or the round hole brass back and silver back. This one's quite worn as well. It's a Texas, and that's a normal one. Normal Texas is 4-hole. They come in either brass or silver. South Carolina 53. That is a normal one. It's got a few bends in it, a few small bends. I kind of prefer to see them in better shape than this. There's an Oklahoma 53. It's another normal one. This one's got some damage on the 8. Oregon 53, another normal one. Nothing unusual about that. Here's one from 54. It's a little rough condition. It might polish up. It's got the rolled edges like it's supposed to. Kind of what I'm sort of looking for are new hole arrangements in the 54s. Any of the styles that I did not yet know in the 53s. And that's about kind of about it. I doubt I'm going to find anything of any real error significance that just doesn't generally pop up, but who knows. Normal Arkansas slot hole, type 1. Might as well start calling them by how I name them. This is type 1. Type 2 is the round holes with the brass back. And type 3 is the silver back. Here's a 54 Virginia. 54 Virginia, the white on black. 4 holes and rolled edges. All of the 54s are supposed to have rolled edges. It's a 53 Virginia. The most common one with the silver back, but this one has the brass. That also comes, let's see, no, it only comes with the round holes. Here's Indiana, 253 Indianas. Same issue, same thing basically. The shade, specific shade of brass color or the copper color hasn't ever mattered. They come in slightly yellower or slightly not so yellow. Here's an Illinois. That last one, I believe, had the slot holes, and this one has round holes. See if I can find that real quick. Yeah, here's the other one. So we got a slot hole and a round hole. Illinois. This one's got some bends in it. This one doesn't, but it's got some dirt on it. So none of these are in really good shape. There's another Michigan slot hole. That one's 53 Michigan slot hole. That's normal. And Idaho, again, brass back, normal. Another Idaho, brass back, normal. Oklahoma, this one brass back, normal. This one also brass back. It's got some bends in it. North Dakota, this one's kind of curly. Not very good shape. All the North Dakotas are brass back and have 4 holes. This is the, no, wait a minute. There's silverbacks on North Dakota, so all of them have 4 holes, though, in 53. Here's another one, another brass back. Another Virginia. This one could be a silver, and it's not. It's a brass. Another one, and also brass, also bent. Arkansas, slot holes, can be any one of 3. This comes in all 3 ways, type 1, type 2, type 3. These are type 1s, so they're all going to have brass backs because the slot holes means you should have a brass back. I've never seen it the other way around. And here are a couple of Oregon plates. These are both 53 Oregons, and they're the same. So there's a number of these in here that are not necessarily beautiful. In fact, there's a lot of them that really are barely acceptable. But, hey, 46 cents a piece. What do you expect? All right, 53 slot hole Wyoming is normal. There's one of the 53 Minnesota styles. This is type 1. Type 1 with the slot holes. Here's an Ohio type 2. Another Ohio type 2. There's a New York type 1. You always tell by the holes alone that you have a type 1. Another New York type 1. And the types are all going to be 1953. There's a Delaware type 1. And a very well messed up Delaware type 1. There's a Utah type 2. Another Utah type 2. Tennessee comes in type 2 or type 3 only. That's a type 2. And this one, type 2. 54 Utah, you're looking for 4 holes and you're looking for the normal curled edges. There's another type 1 Minnesota. There's a 54. Finally, a variety. This is a 4-hole Minnesota. These come in 2-hole and 4-hole. And this one's definitely a 4-hole. There's a 53 New Jersey. 53 New Jersey comes only in the slot hole, which is the type 1, or the round hole type 2, but they're all bronze back. Here's Nevada. Nevada comes in 2 types only that I know of. There's the slot hole type 1 or the silverback with round holes. Don't know of this one without the silverback and round holes. Here is a type 1 Alabama. Another type 1 Alabama. There's a type 2 California. And a type 2 California. There is a type 2 New Mexico. Type 2 Washington. That would be nice if it were type 3. That one's kind of scarce. There's another type 2 Washington. And a 54 Alabama. That one's normal. That's in great shape right there. That one's in, that's a pretty nice one. Let's see. Here's a 53 Nebraska type 2. '53 type 1 West Virginia. And another. Wisconsin comes in type 2 or type 3 only. That's a type 2. Type 2. Kentucky. That is a 54 Kentucky. Pretty nice looking. But normal. There's a 54 Delaware, normal one. A 53 type 1 Delaware, which is also normal. There is a 53 issue type 2 DC. Another 53 issue type 2 DC. There's a 53 issue type 2 Kentucky. Another 53 issue type 2 Kentucky. Now, all of the foreign plates, Canadian plates, have rounded edges on the 53s, so that would be the normal thing, and all of them are brass-backed. There's Virgin Islands, that's in the Island Territory set. Nova Scotia. New Brunswick. There's PEI. Yukon. British Columbia. This is one that I don't have many of. I sold 5 Saskatchewans to one guy from Canada, and since then I've had trouble finding them, and I think I've got like 2 or 3 of them now. So that's a good one for me. Quebec. Monaco. Principaux de Monaco. This is the 2-hole version. I think they all come in 2-hole. Here is Manitoba in 4-hole. Manitoba also comes in 2-hole. And another 4-hole Manitoba. Alberta. I believe the Albertas are all 4-hole. The Italy comes in round and slot hole, and I've got both of them here. Neither of those are really scarce. Here's Monaco again, and Monaco in its normal form. Here's Canal Zone, that also in its normal form. And the Philippines. Philippines and Canal Zone are both a part of the Islands and Territories set of 10 plates. This one is Iran. Iran comes in both round hole and slot hole. So this is the slot hole version. Variety. Guam. So far everything has been normal, as it would be expected. Got a lot of it, though. There's a pile here. There's Cuba. And then Newfoundland comes in both the 2-hole and the 4-hole. This one's a 4-hole, as is the next one. Also 4-hole. Here's the Northwest Territories. That comes in the Island and Territories set, not the Canada set. Ontario comes with round and slot holes. This one is the round hole version. Turkey with the brass back, just like normal. Back to 53 plates. Here's North Carolina. North Carolina, another brass back. Type 2. And another Type 2. And a 54 California. There's a 53 California, should be Type 2. Florida comes in all 3 types. Or does it? No, Florida only comes in Type 2 and Type 3. This one's Type 2. Favorite color combination in plates. This one's really chewed up. This is a reject. Not even worth messing with. Here's a 53, Type 1 Colorado. Another 53, Type 1 Colorado. And another 53, Type 1 Colorado. They only come in Type 1, Type 3. They come with the slot holes or the round holes and a silverback. Georgia comes in 2 types only, Type 2 and Type 3. That's a Type 2. And that's another Type 2. Here's Texas. Texas Type 2. Another Texas Type 2. Wisconsin 1954 set. South Carolina Type 1. Another Type 1. Mississippi Type 1. Here's another Mississippi, but this one's either a Type 2 or Type 3. Type 2. So there's Type 1 and Type 2. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Here's Kansas. All right, Kansas. What are we going to end up with? All right, we have one that is a Type 2. And then we have the one that... flip it back this way. We have the one that doesn't have the corner cut off. So that's a what I call Type 4, or it's the Type 2 variety. Maryland from a 53 set. That is the Type 1, and this one is the Type 2. Type 1 and Type 2 together here. Bunch of them kind of bent up. Now this is where I'm looking for anything other than Type 2, because Type 2 is the only one I know. And that's a Type 2. And this one, Type 2. And this one, Type 2. But that has the box back glue on it, which tells me it's a very early issue, which tells me that it's likely that there are no Type 1s, because Type 1 was the earliest produced. There is a Type 2 Arizona. And there is a Type 2 Iowa and a Type 1 Iowa. '54 Washington. Normal. Another 54 West Virginia this time. And here's a 53 Type 1 West Virginia. A 54 Oklahoma. Oklahoma. There we go. A little bit of rust starting to develop on this one. Just a little bit. There's a 54 set, Wisconsin. There's another Florida. This is either type 2 or type 3. Type 2. It's kind of hoping for a bunch of type 3s in this, because type 3s are quite uncommon, actually. Rhode Island, type 1. So Connecticut. All of these are type 2. All that I know of are type 2. Don't know of any type 3 Connecticut's. There is a Hawaii that is from the Islands and Territories set, so it has rolled edges, but this one has the round holes. They come in round hole and slot holes. There's a 53 Louisiana, should be a type 2. Another 53 Louisiana should be type 2. There is a 53 Montana, type 2. The 53 Montanas come in type 2 and type 3. So there's a type 2 and another type 2. Here is a 54 Texas, the rounded edges. Here is a Blaine County, Kentucky, type 2, 1953. There's Wisconsin for the 53 set. One of 3 or 4 Alaskas I have in here. And the Alaskas are supposed to all have the rounded edges and 4 holes with a silver back because they are island and territories. They're not from the state set. There's one with a little bit of rust developing on it. And another one there. And another one there. Pretty nice looking plates overall. Here's a 53 type 2 again. And a Mississippi type 1. There's a 54 Florida. Pretty nice. 53 South Dakota type 1. Common. 53 Indiana type 2. Common. A Utah 53 type 2. Common. There's a 54 North Dakota with the rolled edges. And a 53 North Dakota type 2. New Hampshire 53 with the 2 holes. And that is a type 1. Massachusetts 53 type 1. And let's see, a 54 Nebraska. Normal. There's 53 Nebraska. All these are type 2, type 3. 54 issue Maryland. Should have the rolled edges. All of the 54s come in the brass back only. Here's a 53 Maryland type 2, or type 1, I'm sorry, type 1. Here's an Iowa type 1. Georgia should be type 2. Here is a 54 Michigan 4-holer. That's weird. The holes on the top are a little bit larger than the holes on the bottom. I think that could be homemade that way. But a 4-hole Michigan is a little less common than the 2-hole. There's an Arizona 53 type 2. Here's another Pennsylvania looking for a type 3, type 2. Massachusetts type 1. 54 Maine regular because it has the silver block. I'm looking for a 54 Maine that is not embossed and doesn't have the block, or the block is black, because then that would mean it's one of our special plates. Here's a 53 Washington, should be type 2. New Hampshire type 1. 53 issue Missouri type 2. And the 54 issue Missouri and type 2 as normal with the rolled edge. Here is Montana type 2. Louisiana type 2. Tennessee type 2. Here's a Connecticut. The only ones I know are type 2s looking for a type 1 or type 3. Not there. Rhode Island type 1. Vermont type 2. Vermont is another one. I only know it in type 2. No type 3s. Here's a 54 Vermont. Of course, we're looking for the one with the 2 holes that is not embossed. So this is normal. A 54 New Hampshire. This one is embossed, so it is normal. There's a 54 New Jersey. It's a normal one. A 53 New Jersey type 1. These come in type 1 and type 2. 54 Nevada, the normal one. A 53 Nevada type 1. And a 53 Wyoming type 1. Now I'm going to bring up my file with plates I need so I can be sure I've got it covered. If I pass by anything I need, this is my most likely spot to find something of value to me anyway. All right. Some of these are quite rusted. Let's see. 1968 Hemisphere. 1989. I'm not working on an 89 set. There's 84 Indiana. There's an 83 Wisconsin. There is a, oh, is that? I think that's an 87. I missed that altogether when I was looking through the stuff. If that's an 87, that's a valuable one. Let me check, because that's important. Important. Let's say license plates. Stretch over to 1987 and see what the 87 is supposed to say. And for Oklahoma, it says super. That is a 1987 Oklahoma, and it's in pretty decent shape. So an 87 plate is a big, big thing. Here is an 81 New Mexico. Let's see, 81, I don't need any. Here is an 86 Delaware, and the 86 Delaware is flat. It's supposed to be flat, no embossing. I think all of these blue-based Delawares are flat. And, oh, is that an 87? Undated. That's your most important thing. It's got a funny phrase, and it's undated. So let's check and see. I'm going over to my license plate file and looking up Rhode Island under 1987. Says sail it. Yes, this is an 87. So I got two 87s out of this so far. There's a 89 Indiana, an 84 Connecticut, which says Yankee. 84 Connecticut. Let me see if I'm missing that one. No, not missing that. There is an 86 Alaska. Not missing that one. There's an 84 Maryland. I am missing this one for my second set. Or third, whichever one I'm working on. Here's a 1980 Mississippi. Now the 1980s, none of them were embossed. All of them are flat back. Here's another 1980. This one is Alaska, and I do need this one for my additional set. So there's a second plate that I need. There's a 1980 Idaho, and this one also flat. This is a 84. It's a 84 Ohio Buckeye. Here's a 1980 Missouri that is rusty. A treatment with acrylic acid to eat the rust, and then a sandblast on the back would do these a lot of good. Okay, so there's nothing out of the ordinary, nothing valuable in the 53s and 54s. There's probably enough to make a few sets out of this, minus a few plates, which I've already determined. There are two decent 1987 plates in this. The two decent 1987 plates run $15 to $20 each in retail. I got two plates that I need for my 1980s, 70s, and 80s. A 1980 Alaska and a 1984 Maryland. And then the rest of these are a couple of bucks a piece. Just your typical average plates. The 89s are worth a little bit more than some of the others. There's the 68 Texas. That one is a nice one. So that's a $10 plate right there. That's what I got. That's it, brother. I wish you'd been here to do it with me live, but I can completely understand. You had other obligations. Hope you get to watch this later and enjoy it.